Ah. All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What is going on? Happy Monday. What up, Vanna girl?
Monday. What's
How
up?
you living? How you living?
How I'm living.
Mhm.
Ooh.
I know that's a loaded question. I know.
I know with so much going on every level, Kelly. I don't know how I'm living. Like I legit today, this week, every day seems to be like a little rough. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm living. But I'm here. We here. It's Monday. Shout out to Monday Night Live. We finna talk about all of the foolery.
Let me
Just
stop.
forever foolery going on, right? It's always some foolery
Let me stop, man. Let me
on
stop.
every level. Mm, 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 mm.
Are you ready? Because I know y'all, we start a few minutes behind. There's a reason for it, but we're gonna get into this conversation with what's done happened, and we are starting with your people this week, Shavannah. Same old.
North County, yeah.
So, yes, y'all. So last week there was a meeting. The St. Louis County Council, they have a committee. It's called Health, Justice, and Welfare. I think that's what it's called.
Oh,
But they met last week to discuss a proposed bill that sits on the perfection calendar right now. And this bill is requesting about $1.6 million in unallocated coins that the county has in their general fund to support the Department of Justice Services because they're looking to fund 27 corrections officers positions. So they had a very interesting meeting, and I want to provide this information just so people are aware of what's going on, especially since the county broke. So
until I just did them taxes.
we're gonna get into this conversation. I have clips because y'all know I'm a clip girl. So this first clip kind of lays the foundation, right? As far as like why are these dollars needed
One
for
point.
additional positions,
Oh,
27. So this is a clip, y'all. Scott Anders, he serves as the director for the Department of Justice Services. So he kind of provides information as far as why they're requesting these coins.
For payroll, through the most recent payroll posted on March 29th, we've spent 20.3% of our payroll budget. We've completed 21.1% of payrolls. That's 5.5 payrolls out of 26.1 total payrolls in this year. Our overtime budget of $760,000 will be spent by May, and we'll need to rely on vacant positions to fund overtime. Overtime is time and a half, so we're spending 50% more for required staffing. However, we've have the cost of living and merit increases coming in June, so we'll start spending more after that time. We also need to cover retirement PTO payouts from vacant positions. Each corrections officer's costs about $60,000 for salary and fringe, and we're asking for 27 of the 54 unfunded positions at almost $1.6 million. The Civil Service Commission approved a permanent $3 hour pay increase for corrections officers only to maintain current pay. And we'll fund that from our current budget. Once ARPA funding ends, we'll keep some non-CO positions open and rely on some non-payroll transfers to cover that. So having said that, by making that permanent now, the only jail in the region that pays more for corrections officers than us is St. Charles County. And they do pay slightly more, but we're remaining competitive now with it.
So I wanted to lift one thing up in there, and then Savannah, I'll let you share kind of your thoughts. But I just want the people out there to know, if you were not aware, overtime. So y'all, they about to run out of what they budgeted for overtime. I think they said in May. Okay, we are in. You blink, we gonna be in May, y'all. Okay, we in mid-April right now. Shoot, the week
that's
after next is
crazy.
May. So, and overtime is time and a half. Okay, that's just not like, oh, little extra hours. No, that's more coins. That's more money, and the reason why they need this extra overtime is because they ain't got enough people, they ain't got enough staff. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of those things. Shavannah, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to see. I mean, now once they run out of what they've budgeted, like, how are they going to, if they continue down this road of, overtime, using folks in overtime? That doesn't seem feasible. So something has to give, right? It's just crazy that, that the year's just started and they've already used all of the year to date. So you budgeted this amount for the year, and we not even halfway through the year, and you already depleted. Like, that's crazy. That is so crazy.
So we're going to keep it rolling through the meeting. So again, Mr. Anders continue on, again, really stressing the need as to why these extra positions, why they're needed. So listen to this and we'll, continue talking about it.
We currently have 68 unfilled full-time corrections officer positions, but 14 of those are funded, and those are waiting to be filled. We have 4 starting on Monday. 8 have completed background checks, which would start within the next week or 2, and then we have 4 that are starting the background process. So we currently then would have 0 funded positions left for hiring. When I came here at the end of the year, and we were able to get your support in the additional 16 positions, I was asked when would I need to come back for additional positions, and I think I projected that by the end of March we would likely fill those positions. So I'm very proud to say that our recruiting efforts are working. We are on pace, continuing to fill positions, even in a challenging time. But we do need to continue to hire staff in order to continue to be able to make sure that the jail is operating safely. And the jail population has increased by 150 residents since that time. Also, we have about 950 residents as of today, and at that time we had 790 residents. At the same time, the courts have increased the hearings and moving people forward. So each day we're required to pull about 20 additional officers just to help with transporting to court. Because of the health issues and overdoses in the region, we end up with about 6 hospital posts now in hospitals each day instead of the average of 2. So there's a lot more required just as we're leaving the pandemic. We have opened more housing units, each require 10 full-time COs, not counting additional supervisors. That would be 2 additional supervisors per floor. And then additional housing units would require overtime to fund that unless we have approval for additional positions, because the same number of posts are required, whether we have the staff or not. So due to the staffing challenges in 2021, the former director had to end the holding of federal inmates for the U.S. Marshals. This had been generating up to $3 million each year for the county general fund. And with this additional funding, we'll be able to renew that contract and receive up to $4.5 million in housing, up to 100 federal inmates per day. The current per diem rate is $93 per day, and our plan is to renegotiate that when that contract ends on June 30th to the $120 per day actual cost that was determined by KPMG during a financial review. So we're requesting those additional 27 officers and greatly appreciate your support. I neglected to mention that CGL also pointed out if we hire the additional officers, we'll actually save $1.2 million in costs that are accrued from overtime.
So that was a lot, y'all. I know there was a lot in that clip. I wanted to lift up a couple of things, and then I'm gonna see what I know Vanna got something to say. So y'all, they need these positions. There has been an increase in residents and folks in the jail since COVID. Also, I mean, they really want to make sure that they prevent what happened. Unfortunately, there was a corrections officer in 20, I think it was fall-ish 2021, November 2021, a young woman corrections officer. She damn near got beat to death because they were understaffed. She was the only corrections officer in that pod. So, from a safety perspective on all fronts, they need these they need the staffing. And also, you heard it from Mr. Anders himself, like the county is losing out on coins, working with the feds, housing federal inmates. We looking at M's, y'all. We looking at several M's right there that the county is missing out on because the jails ain't staffed appropriately. And there again, overtime is time and a half. That's why people like to work overtime, because it's time and a half. So if you hire more people, he said the county could save like $1.2 million just off rip from that. So Vanna, what you got?
I'm stuck at the number of how it went up. And I'm thinking like he said 68 positions unfilled, 150 additional people put in jail. It's just like, what are we doing wrong? Like if this is me in my way, I'm thinking like, what are we doing that we have more people going into jail versus more people applying for a position or a job? I don't know. I just think we have to really look at what we're doing here, because this is crazy. I can't imagine working in that environment, not having enough staff. Definitely, they had to give them $3 more compared to what they were the lowest paid. So it's just like, oh God.
I know.
It's a lot, because
it's a lot there. It is a lot there.
It is so much a lot.
It's a lot.
1.6 million sounds like a lot, but if you're saving 1.2 million from literally just not having to continue working people in overtime, can you imagine those COs though? Like, I'm sure you're not showing up your full self if you've been there or been somewhere 12 hours continuously. Like
that part. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's not safe. It's not safe, and it's not fair, and it's not right to people. For anyone, especially in that profession. Like, you can't be slipping as a CO.
That's not easy work. That's not an easy job.
Like if I had an office job somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
You get mentally tired of working 12 hours. So yeah,
so obviously the director Anders, he, provided his information, and then like there was a bit of a discussion, really a lot of questions and damn near a grilling of this man by so I know the council people that were present during this meeting were Councilman Harder and Councilwoman Retta Days, and also Councilwoman Lisa Clancy. You see her there on the screen attending virtually. And so I will say council members Harder and Days, they were bringing up some topics, I guess, that technically are relevant to what we're talking about, and I kind of wanted to lift them up to kind of set the context for this clip I'm going to play next. So they brought up they asked him like, how are you keeping your staff? Because word on the street is people are contacting us saying one person is leaving per pay period. They're bouncing, they're shaking. And so Anders, he said, hey y'all, like, yeah, that sucks. But he said it was even worse when I had come on. Mind you, y'all, this dude been in his role for maybe a year and a half. Okay. He said it was way worse. Sometimes 14 people, 15 people leaving. You know what I'm saying? In that same time frame. So it's gotten better, but obviously it could be better. But it has gotten better so far with the work with them trying to do with improving the culture, the work culture. Because sometimes, money helps, but money ain't everything when it comes to
peace of mind. Look,
that's what I'm saying. Like, no one,
And then 14 people were leaving per pay period to go down to one. I would think that's an excellent job. Like,
I
you
mean,
14 to one. Come on now.
but again, we on Capitol Hill now. Let me
You
shut
mad because one
up.
person leaving per pay period?
Let me shut up. Let
14?
me shut up. They was grilling this dude, and I'm like, y'all, he's trying. So they
It
mentioned
seems like
that.
it's working to me.
They mentioned that. They also mentioned they had this payroll report in their hands.
Okay.
And they said that the payroll report showed people were clocking in like over 100 hours in OT and overtime. And Anders, he was like, hey, can y'all send me whatever you're looking at? Because that clearly that's a reporting error. Like these people are not like getting paid for that,
100
hundreds
OT
of
hours
hours. Yeah, OT.
over. Oh, wow.
And then also, there's this talk about that additional $3 per hour that the corrections officers and really all of the staff in that Department of Justice Services, folks that work at the jail, they were able to get because of ARPA funding. Obviously they knew, the director, Mr. Anders, he knew this wasn't a permanent fix. But he even told them, like when he came to the county council requesting that those coins to increase their staff to make their wages more competitive, because people was leaving, 14, 15 people pay period was leaving, going to all these other places. He even had a plan. He said, I got a plan on how we can make this permanent. But I did want to provide this clip for y'all because he speaks specifically to that issue, that the council members, kind of went in on him on a bit. And also in this clip, he also provides another challenge when it comes to them and their coins. So that's this is interesting.
Plan all along, if going back to when we made the request, was to try to make that permanent for the officers because we were losing so many officers. We were the lowest paid jail in the region at $18.15 per hour. And at the time, I indicated that I could generate revenue to help pay that by the end, but we had initially till the end of this year to make that happen. So already we've cut overtime in half by the policy change. We also have generated an additional $2 million in revenue from Department of Corrections by billing for probation and parole violators, which had not been done in the past, and that will be revenue moving forward. And we also are prepared and ready to move forward with renewing that federal contract, which will generate another $4 million. On top of that, we're looking at bringing in other vending machines that will allow commissary to be accessible to residents and will save and cut costs. We're looking at a variety of ways to reduce the costs that we have. And so one of the challenges that we have is that the reimbursement rate for the state is $22.50 per day, while our actual cost is $120 per day. And the state of Department of Mental Health has a backlog of 200 people waiting competency evaluations. And several of them, it takes years to get through that process, and they're in our jail at $120 per day. So those types of costs are driving our costs up. And so we're hopeful that we can work together with council and others to address some of those issues, which will help us in cost saving.
Wow.
So you got this man. Again, he told them like, hey, this is what it is. Unfortunately, not everyone's gonna continue with that $3 per hour raise, But in that prioritization again of the COs, right? The corrections officers. I mean, he been generating other forms of revenue and trying to cut costs.
But I think that's kind of fair too, though. Like those COs, that's a tough position to be in. So I mean, especially with what they're up against. At least he's like trying to say, at least let's prioritize RCOs so we can at least get more here to help in this space and appreciate the ones who are still in the space. So I think that's smart, but who am I?
But this is what I wanted people to hear. Okay, y'all know we St. Louisans up in this piece. We are unfortunately at war with our state legislature. Okay, every day is something. Every week it's something.
Can't
But
even pay
again,
bills.
right. But again, you heard out of this dude's mouth because he know what he's talking about. He's saying that the state, our lovely state of Missouri, is reimbursing St. Louis County 20 something dollars a day, even though St. Louis County is paying $100 something a day to house these folks, to house people. And not only are they being skimped on that dollar amount of reimbursement decided upon by folks at the state level of government, right? They're even behind in paying like that skeet ass reimbursement. So it's like y'all are so quick to do. Y'all doing way too much and not doing enough.
It's like you got a whole discount and you still can't afford the discount.
Where they do that at? They do that here in our state of Missouri, doing all this other stuff. Doing all the other things.
But ain't these the same people that be yelling, we need to not defund the police? I'm just saying. Look, don't get me started. Anyway.
Make it make sense. If anyone's out there watching right now, we got someone that's watching. Make it make sense for us, please.
It don't make sense.
I don't get it.
It's crazy. It's like y'all just be saying shit and don't be doing it. And that's the problem.
Planned all along.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Like, he's quick to be like, why should we defund the police? But you're not even paying the people. You're not even paying COs. So where's the money? Where's the money?
So this is the last clip because St. Louis County, state of Missouri, y'all giving me a headache. But this is the last clip. I have to shout this dude out, Chris Gron Howard, who's on the screen. He got his little beard and everything. Look at him. So,
he got his little beard.
Look at you see, he got the little beard connect. Look at him. Go ahead, Chris. So
he's sharp.
Clearly. So shout out to him because he works for the county council. When they have to make any budget related decisions, he's their guy. So he gives it to them. Like he keeps it a buck. He's like, yo, if y'all do option A, then this is how it's going to impact St. Louis County and other departments. If you do, option B, this is what it's giving. So like they really rely on him to help them decide, because ultimately it's on the county council, right, on how to move. And so as they usually do, they turn to Chris to get a sense of, what's up, bruh? Like, what are your thoughts on this? As far as, again, passing the bill to appropriate that $1.6 million, which is available now. St. Louis County got it. But because they broke, all these important decisions really have to be considered. So listen to what Chris had to say, and then, I'm curious to hear how Vanna feels about his words.
If you want to wait, you're going to be having this discussion again in no later than probably August to pass a bill in September, October. And then you're headed into your main budget time. We had this discussion a lot during the last 2 years worth of budgets and during ARPA when we did the premium pay. And to Director Anders' point, you are going to spend more if they don't hire. That's just, we saw that with police and their overtime. We see this with them. The potential revenue in them being able to hire from the federal contract, potentially, even if they don't renegotiate, they just take more. But if they can renegotiate, even better. If we can get the state caught up, those things will kind of pay for themselves. If you remember, I stood before the council. Several of you said, Chris, can we make this sustainable beyond ARPA? And I said, yes, if meant the federal contract, if meant raising the municipal contract, if meant making sure we got the money from the state on time. So those are all kind of components in what is your decision making. You will, I hope, and it sounds contrary to say, they will hire enough people. You will at some point throughout the year be giving them a supplemental to pay for those people. Do you have to do it Tuesday? No, you don't. Will you have to do it sometime this year? If they are successful in being able to hire, you will. How much that will be at that point, I can't tell you because I don't know how many people they will hire and at what point in the year they will have reached that point. So those are decisions that the council has to make. I was asked to come up with alternative solutions. It's not if, it's when. If they can get the job done and hire the people, they are going to have to get a supplemental appropriation to pay for them. And the investment will be worth the cost.
I mean, he told y'all.
I think it sounds pretty clear. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck at the state. Because my question is, okay, they're saying if we negotiate or if they get this. So who is it going to make sure that the state is held accountable? That word. To make sure that they pay the full 120. Because how has that not been something that's, I know that he said staffing was kind of sort of an issue, but still, like, how has that not been something that's needed to be addressed and haven't been addressed? Like, how is you just letting state go through with paying you $20 an hour, knowing that the overhead cost is way more, and they delayed with it? They not even paying on time. So, like,
Right.
who's holding while they out here making DEI bills? And I'm just like,
yeah. Focused on the wrong ish all day, every day. And I really hope that members of the St. Louis County Council, other members of the St. Louis County government as well, I'm sure they have lobbyists and other people that they work with to advocate on behalf of St. Louis County at the state level. So I really hope those folks are doing what they need to do, but it is very interesting. Like,
what Blue Lives Matter folks? No,
like $20 a person. I mean, come on now. Like,
and it costs 120.
Yeah, and think about, and shoot, that dollar amount probably done been frozen at, I don't know, since the beginning of when they created the damn program. Maybe that was a legit cost. I mean, I don't really know.
The $20 an hour or the $100.
The $20 a day
for it probably was at one point
way back. Okay, way back. You know, when White Castles was like a nickel or something.
White Castle was a nickel. It ain't no nickel no more.
Hell no.
Ain't even $1. But yeah,
I mean, it seems kind of like,
it's plain and simple. I feel like if I was on the council, but I'm not, but if I was on the council, I would say, let's go ahead and make this investment and let's hold the state accountable, because it clearly is saying that it'll pay for itself and you aren't losing any money. And then on the other hand, we just legalized marijuana and money coming from there. So even if you invest it, I still feel like you're not going to lose, because now you have another stream. So, and which you said earlier, the general, right? Ain't that's what they said? This money was, and didn't they say that's what this money going? this tax money going?
Yes, to support St. Louis County residents and the services they provide.
So does this not make sense? And I think in the end of the day too, you're providing more job opportunities for people. You know, a lot of people out here, they don't have opportunities for jobs, you know, and not to say that $60,000 is a lot, but hey, it's a lot more than what some other folks making, you know. So someone will be probably really happy to have that $60,000 and have a job where they can try to maybe make a difference. So I think it's a win. But you know, I'm not a county council member, so
to be continued. The bill, it is on the perfection order of business, which is, again, perfection calendar is not the same as final passage. That's the step before. So they meet tomorrow's Tuesday. So what will come from it, we shall see. And I just really want to lift this up too, because y'all, St. Louis County, I have a feeling, I have a hunch that there'll be more of these conversations had about a lot of stuff within the budget. The department services, they have had multiple meetings about, again, the hiring and all that stuff. So this has been a recurrent thing, and I really haven't spoken about it on this platform yet, but I did want to lift it up for people to be aware, because y'all, St. Louis County, they said they broke. So it's going to be a very, very interesting, because y'all's budget season in St. Louis County, y'all got to have y'all's stuff approved by the end of the year, by the end of December, in order for, because y'all's fiscal year is, January 1 through December 31st. So,
yeah, I mean, that's a good time to get some shit in order.
Hello. So, to be continued. I'm sure it's going to be some more interesting discussions around the budgets.
And it would be smart to do it now versus shout out to y'all city people, but
Well, I think I will say this, and then we're going to get to the city, but I will say that Councilwoman Webb, it seems like she's trying to have these discussions a bit earlier. I know she's been spearheading these collaborative budget meetings with the county executive's office and other members of the county council to kind of start having these conversations looking big picture, instead of waiting until October to have these conversations with the departments, each of the departments. And then you have to decide, because October, November, December don't really count, because it's the holidays. Once you get to Thanksgiving, y'all, the year's a wrap for real. So they have that much time to hold hearings for each of the departments, because they hold budget hearings for every one of the departments, y'all. So they have to meet with those people in I'll say a month and a half time frame. And then they have to vote out a budget by the end of the year. So it seemed like they're trying to
shout out to her. That sounds like right. I think that's a good process. A plus. I mean, why not start early?
Yeah, and start collaborating, because I found it so interesting that they weren't having these conversations before. Like, it's like the departments and the county exec's office, they have they work on their budgets, and then they send it to the county council in October, and then I'm like, so y'all don't talk before that? So again, hopefully this is kind of creating a new process for them to be able to work together. Yeah, we'll see. To be continued, St. Louis County. But y'all's hearts. But we gonna get into the city stuff. Yes, you know what? I gotta say, y'all know I'm remaining cautiously hopeful, cautiously optimistic. Just in general with the city and the county stuff. But I'm telling y'all, Board of Aldermen President Megan Green and her people, they ain't playing with y'all out there. They ain't playing with y'all out there. Shoot. They ain't playing. So I'm sorry.
Setting the tone. Hey.
She's like, yo, this is what we finna get into. So she's shaking some stuff up. Her and her people, they shake some stuff up a little bit. First and foremost, from my understanding, they held the first ever new Board of Aldermen orientation last week, y'all. Has never happened, from my understanding, in the history of the city of St. Louis.
Shout out to her.
So I was like, yo, that's so cool. And this leads up to next week, or not, this is next week. So tomorrow, they're swearing in the first meeting of the new session. I'm really excited about it. I'll be there with bells on and a lip on, smiling. And so again, I know this is during the day when people working, because I'll be there. I think the swearing in starts around 9:30. City Hall. I'll be there. I know most people will be at work, but if you want to pop up, say hey, we can kiki and laugh and look at the sights to be seen. Feel free to join me. If not, you probably at work, because that's what most people are during the day.
Probably so, Kelly.
But I did want to lift this up as far as this Board of Aldermen, their orientation.
I like that idea.
It makes sense, because whenever anybody gets a new job, they got orientation onboarding. So I did want to lift this up to my county people because I don't want, my county people to be, jealous, you know what I'm saying, envious of us city folk. I did want to lift up, I kind of posted this on my personal social media platform, right? I'm like, yo, I love to see it. Is anything like this happening in other municipalities? And there was, quite a bit of feedback and engagement in that post, letting us know, the people know. Y'all, the Municipal League offers a variety of trainings and workshops to our elected officials throughout the area, including the city and the county. So, I mean, I'm just saying, y'all.
I would be interested to know who tapped into those trainings.
And apparently every elected official, from my understanding, they have access to these trainings.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in knowing who has tapped in. That's interesting.
So I'm just putting that out there. I just want the people to know that y'all electeds do have access to trainings and workshops to help them do what they need to do more effectively. So I'm just letting y'all know.
JOB.
So feel free to reach out to your electeds to have those questions if you do. I'm just telling y'all what I heard, what I done learned.
Interesting.
I know. So something else, she's shaking it up. Changes in the rules of the Board of Aldermen. Yo, so for people that don't know out there, yes, the Board of Aldermen, as far and also any other governing body, they have rules that they agree on. They change, they tweak, you know what I'm saying, every year to make sure they handle their business, okay, in proper order and form, right? That's what they do. So they trying to change some of these rules. So I'm lifting up a few. The slide, I mean, it's small. You probably can't read it, but this is an official letterhead, y'all, from the office of the president of the Board of Aldermen, Megan Green herself, telling y'all, this is a press release telling y'all what they trying to do out here to make things more fair, and to make sure that things run in a more democratic process. So first change, board officers. So we're talking about like the vice president, the floor leader, and all that. Usually my understanding is in the past, if you served the most amount of time, bam, there you go. So based on seniority, you became an officer. She like, nah, we, her team, let's switch that around. So now they want to make sure that board officers are elected by the full Board of Aldermen.
Okay.
Instead of just because you've been serving for a long time. You get it. So
I like that idea. I'm not against it.
Change number one.
Yeah, because I mean, first of I think that's where we fail anyway. Because people be trying to get in these positions for longevity. Sorry. You should not want to be in this position for longevity. It's not what it's built for. But anyway, so I think that's a good idea to let, some newness and some new ideas and some freshness and fairness get into the space. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I also wanted to lift up a couple of the other changes. The committee chairs, so chairs of committees, will be nominated and selected by those officers, board officers, and also now this change right here. So the Board of Aldermen president will actually talk to the alders to get a sense of what committees they want to be on before they assign them. So again, my understanding is Board of Aldermen president, they assign folks to different committees. Yeah. So that's power, y'all. That is power. And so again, she's proposing or really requesting and putting it out there, yo, let me have a conversation with these folks, with people first, see what they want to do, and then make my decision based off of those conversations. So it seems small and basic, but this hasn't happened before.
That's interesting. That is but I'm sure why. But I mean, it seems like a cool process. I feel like there's a sense of checks and balance.
Mm-hmm. So y'all know they're gonna be talking about this stuff on Tuesday, tomorrow.
And the board officers, remind us again of who are the board
So
officers?
like the vice president, like they have like a floor leader and
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
so they're gonna be talking about this tomorrow in open session, which so it should be interesting. And I'm sure there'll be some people that may not be feeling some of these changes.
They're gonna be ready to attack.
Oh Lord, that's all I gotta say. Oh Lord.
Good luck with you in that meeting. Make sure you have plenty of
coffee. We have some snacks, and I hope they don't take my snacks from me when I go through the security. Because with them, you never know. With the board of aldermen, you never know. Oh, it'll be 2 hours. No, 5 hours later.
5
people
hours.
being called bald-faced liars. Okay, sorry, y'all. Let me
the drama of our local government.
Right. So we were talking about St. Louis County's budget because they broke. I also wanted to lift up. I shouldn't say that probably, but y'all get when I say that, y'all get the picture. Y'all get what it is quicker than me saying, so maybe a budget deficit. When I say they broke, y'all get it's the same damn thing. It's just we here.
We broke. It's all right.
No,
it's not okay. It's not okay.
The city of St. Louis budget season, y'all, it's here. It's here. We are here.
This is interesting.
For the people that did not know, the city of St. Louis's fiscal year runs from July 1 through June 30th.
That is so weird.
And we are in April. So this is we kicking it off, y'all. So I did want to provide just like a snapshot of kind of, again, this process from the beginning of the year, right? And I found this information on the City of St. Louis's website, so y'all can definitely Google it, check it out. They have this little diagram here, and they also have they lay it out in text as well, like what this process is. So please check it out for yourself, because I was reading it. So what happened, right? So in December, y'all, right, 2022, the budget folks, the budget director, his crew, distributed their budget manual, and then in January, the departments submitted their estimated revenues, right, for the next year based off of, I'm sure, the current year, what's going on. And also the departments, they submit to the budget folks any new programs or initiatives or new line items, budget items that they want to maybe implement in that next year. So from there, revenue estimates are developed. And then the budget people say, okay, y'all, this is the number you got to work with. This is what you got to deal with. That's all in January. Okay. So then February, departments submit their request given their dollar amount they got, the bottom line that they have to work with. So they send that to the budget folks. And then in March, the budget director, his folks, they meet with the different departments to, go over the numbers, whatever, fine, go back and forth, whatever, make their final kind of decisions. And so what do that mean at this point? Okay. So in April, it's a lot of work on the board of E&A, not to be confused with E&J. I love my people, but y'all know how we be getting, we come up with our own things. So the board of E&A, which consists of 3 people, y'all, it is Mayor Tashara Jones. It's the Board of Aldermen President, Megan Green, and the comptroller, Darlene Green. Interesting. They both share the same last name, of no relation, I guess. But so these 3 ladies, right? These 3 women, they are tasked to do this month. So they have to discuss the proposed next year's budget, fiscal year 2024, in a meeting. They have to host at least one public hearing about the proposed budget to provide, just that one hearing. So us residents, we can really provide feedback, right, on the proposed budget. And then they vote on the budget. And they have to do that by like May 1st to the Board of Aldermen, because the Board of Aldermen have to vote on that. So in real time, y'all, because we in April. So that means that discussion of the proposed budget, that's on Wednesday at 2 p.m. virtually. Okay. And then I haven't seen it online yet. I don't even know if this is publicly available yet. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it definitely will be obviously Wednesday after the budget director provides its presentation to those women. That one public hearing is on Friday at 10 a.m.
That's crazy. At 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And then based off of all that great information, they have to submit their budget. They'll be voting to submit their budget to the Board of Aldermen, and that's next Monday.
There's really no engagement in community around these things.
I mean, that you got the one here. Let me stop. Let me shut up.
At 10 o'clock on a Friday.
I'm being petty.
But it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's just, I mean, and then why rush? Y'all, like, kind of, I'm happy that the county is kind of starting now because theirs in December, but like, what's the rush? And all these new people that's coming in the city, these new alder people, so they really probably don't even know the concept of the budget and what the line items and what does that mean if they've not ever seen that before. So how do they know what they're voting on?
So my understanding, Shavannah, it's all in the charter. It's all in the charter. So if people have thoughts around this process, the voters decided in the city of St. Louis that we will establish a charter commission to review the charter and to make recommendations for that mug to be changed. So this is all my understanding. This is with the charter. Okay. So I put on this slide, I literally copy and pasted this from the city's website as far as next steps, right? After the Board of VNA, after they do their thing, right? So again, by May 1, in accordance to the city charter, they have to send the proposed budget to the Board of Aldermen. If the Board of VNA don't submit it, then the budget director does, is my understanding. They have to get it, like I said, by May 1, the full Board of Aldermen. Then in May and June, the Ways and Means Committee of the Board of Aldermen, they conduct their public hearings, throughout the budget, have their conversations with different departments and all of that fun stuff in May and June. Then, so this is where it gets interesting. And I hope people hear this on the internets and everywhere else in the world, right? So the Board of Aldermen, they can decrease the amount of an item in a budget bill as long as it doesn't they don't break any state laws or any ordinances if there's a certain set dollar amount when it comes to certain things. So if they're not breaking any laws doing it, they can deduct or decrease some coins, right, from a department or a budget line, but they cannot increase or add any coins or add any budget lines or any of that nature.
Wow.
That is on the Board of ENA. The Board of ENA, they have that power to add coins and add budget lines.
That is really interesting. So that just goes and shows the power play and how important those three players are. Because that's a power structure. If you can say, hey, we can add, and then the whole board of all the people say, They can't add, they could just take away.
So yeah, that again, that push and pull, those checks and balances. Again, this is our city's charter that determines this.
That's interesting.
So, but I will lift up that the Board of Aldermen, let's say, and I'm speaking this into, hopefully maybe this resonates somewhere out there. Let's say the Board of Aldermen say, yo, we need to give the health department more coins, right? So what they can do, they can send that information to the Board of ENA, like, hey, maybe the health department needs to get more than 1% of the city's budget. And the Board of ENA, they can say, you know what, Board of Aldermen, yeah, we see y'all, you right. And then they can, add it that way. But, they're not obligated.
What you just said, they're not obligated. So that could be like, yeah, we heard you, but
they're not obligated. So I know, y'all, it is a lot. And again, to your point, Vanna, like we do have quite a few newbies that are coming on to the Board of Aldermen that don't have no nana clue really about what some of this process may entail. And shoot, they might not even know all of what the different departments and agencies in the city even do. There's obviously a steep learning curve. And they're just literally getting into this role. So it should be very interesting. I did want to lift up, please, if y'all haven't followed Transform 314 on our social media platforms, please do. I'm gonna do my due diligence to at least post information about the budget once it is released. And also, if you feel inclined, and if you're able to, because again, most people are at work on Fridays at 10 a.m. But if you feel very passionate and inclined about what you see on the budget, I'll be sure to provide information on how you can sign up to speak as well, because you have to be a registered speaker to be able to provide your information, and you got to do it within a certain time frame. Y'all know how we do it in the city of St. Louis when we trying to provide public input. For now, I'll say at this point in time. So y'all, please, like I said, be on the lookout. I will post that information. And we can go from there. I mean, budgets are everything. A city's budget is everything. It says a lot. Says a lot about city's priorities, right?
Yeah, it does.
So
and it's interesting. What you say? You just be, cautiously hopeful that, this gets a whiff, somebody gets a whiff of this that may be on that charter commission.
yeah. I mean, and they're taking recommendations too for people to get on that commission. So if you really feel a certain type of way about this process, there you go.
Yeah, or I love other processes in the city. Definitely check it out. Get on board. Change the charter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, don't change the charter because you can't change it.
Right. You can
provide recommendations. Let me make sure I'm clear on that.
Yes, because
when people's like, oh, they said I transformed 314 that you can go, we gonna change the charter. No, you can make recommendations. The people would have to vote on your recommendations. So
yeah. It should be interesting. Again, people can still, again, the Board of Aldermen, they'll be talking about this for the next couple of months. But like I said, I'll post the information. And if people are able to provide any feedback, whatever, definitely move forward with doing that. Because we got to start somewhere. And it's again, this process is less than ideal.
And it would be interesting to see too, like what's on the budget, like how much they're getting and allocating to certain things that you've talked about on the show. Like we talked about how people working in St. Louis city government, how they don't get paid much, and the trash all of those different things. So it just would be, I'm sure their increase will be reflected on the budget as well. I'm sorry. But anyway,
We gonna see, ain't we? We gonna see.
if that's going to be reflected on the budget. But yeah, I would love to see those. Yeah, what's on the budget? What's on the budget?
We gonna see. I have an idea of where most of those coins gonna go, but we gonna see. We gonna see. So, like I said, y'all, be on the lookout because once I have access to it, I'm throw it up there. I'm gonna post it. Any comments or anything, just I'm gonna show it. We gonna see. We gonna see. I know. You got any special announcements? I do have announcements with our Medicaid events coming up, but Vanna, do you have any special announcements that you would like to share with the people? Any upcoming events, activities?
If you ain't following the Hood Talks podcast, please do. We just did a conversation with SSM, Generate Health, and BJC around Black Maternal Health Week, which just ended. But we also got a conversation coming up with some. They're not even local though, but there's some dope Black women in the mental health space. They are from some sisters from across the world. It seems like they kind of a little bit everywhere, but they work together on a podcast themselves, and we're gonna be talking to them about just Black women and mental health, and just it was a good conversation. So definitely tap into the Hood Talks podcast. Follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram. You can check us out on YouTube as well. And that's the Hood Talks podcast with the DA. Yeah.
Yes. DA.
With the
DA,
DA.
y'all.
Yeah. Shout out to the Hood Talks podcast.
Yeah, shout out to the Hood Talks podcast, having those conversations that we need to have. But it seems like we don't have those platforms. So shout out to y'all, the work that you all have been doing to really amplify and provide that space. For real, man. Are y'all doing it?
Community voices. We need to listen. That's
that part. Listen.
We need to listen. Yep. We need to listen. So appreciate it. Woo, and of course, the many more y'all going coming on.
Y'all, again, the state
and the
has enough things that they need to focus on instead of doing the most. So sorry, let me dial back a bit. So next week, I know Chance 1314. Most of our focus is on what's happening locally. However, we kind of really wanted to utilize our platform to amplify some issues around the Medicaid re-enrollment process, because there are quite a few Missourians that are at risk of losing their health care. So folks that do use Medicaid, it's real, y'all. It's real. And so we are going to have a couple of different spaces to talk about this important issue, and also make sure we are giving information for people to share to make sure that folks don't lose their healthcare coverage. So next Monday, we will be talking to Mr. Derek Melton. Shout out to him for hopping on this here platform with us. He is the COO, y'all. Chief Operating Officer. Yes, he kind of, he up there. So he'll be talking to us. He works at Care STL Health. So he'll be sharing his insights with his experience and knowledge about why should we even care? Why is this important? And most importantly, like I said, resources and ways we can be sure people know how to go about getting re-enrolled. And obviously, we do kicking the 4 calls every month, y'all. We gonna do the same thing on next Thursday. But we have our special partners, the St. Louis Integrated Health Network. We also have the city's health department and other partners coming together again, so we can really lift this topic up. We will have, and we finna be at Bait Restaurant, okay?
That part.
We're gonna be at Bait Restaurant.
It's dope.
Just that in itself. So we'll be there.
Go grab your tickets, because I'm telling you, it's going to be sold out. I'm sure.
Go to Eventbrite. Make sure you get your tickets. I also wanted to lift up For people that come through, I mean, we got gas cards on deck.
Yeah.
We got all kind of goodies on deck. So
Gourmet Soul will be providing our food. We're gonna have sweets. Oh man, we got a lot planned. Music, of course, as always. $25 game prizes. But again, you gotta come so you can play them games. But come out, y'all. We got some swag items and all. So come out. Come have a good time with us. Come kick it. Because we really kicking it though.
I'm really looking forward to this. And we also have Andwele Jolly, who is leading the efforts of the St. Louis Integrated Health Network, and Dr. Mati Davis with the City of St. Louis's Health Department. They will be on site, and we'll also have people on site enrolling folk, re-enrolling people as well, if people need to do that. So please, y'all.
No other reason to come out. Definitely come out and make sure that you get yourself re-enrolled. Okay, if you are in need to do that, definitely do it, please. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Y'all, to be continued. Like I say, make sure you're following the Hood Talks, the Hood Connects platforms.
Yes, definitely.
And please make sure y'all tapped into Transform 314, because I'm finna be at this inauguration and all these other things tomorrow. I have who knows what will happen. I'm probably gonna be posting some stuff.
Get your camera ready.
I mean, it's gonna be very interesting.
I'm sure.
But y'all, please stay safe out there. And I'll see y'all next week, definitely. So until then, take care. Peace.